Game Up Hard Hydration. It's like your favorite sports drink and seltzer. Got together, had a baby. You know the rundown. 4 full flavors, 110 calories, 1 gram of carbs. Dave, hit them with those flavors.
We're talking fruit punch, orange, lemon, lemon lime, and grape.
Yeah, don't leave out the lime. That's the other half of that beautiful combo. And it's the great wrestler discussions you've come up with. And when I looked at the highest performing one we had, it was Ultimate Warrior versus Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, Psycho Sid, whatever you may call him. Who had a better career? I'll start off since I've usually asked you to kick it off. Who had the better career? I think overall, I'm going to say Sid by like a hair, because they both had careers that had varying levels of success. They made it to world championship spots, even though their in-ring might not have necessitated or, warranted world championship on them. But Sid, I feel like, had the longer, better career, more top spots, was welcomed back to companies more times than Warrior, even if he did have a habit of just stop showing up.
Earlier in the show, we talked about WrestleManias and how I liked WrestleMania 3, but I don't know if all the matches would hold up. This is one of those things I don't know if they hold up for any new fans. If you go back and watch Sid and Warrior, you'll be like, these guys weren't really that great in the ring. But at the time as a kid when I watched this, and given the era, both these guys were very similar in the sense, both big muscle, powerhouse physiques, big power moves, great ring entrances, right? Sid had this rock kind of music, and then like the psycho music at different times. He had the intensity, and he'd come out just yelling, "Who's the man?" And the power bomb was like a devastating move at that time. And the Warrior, he was just like a bullet, right? Just flying out there. And sometimes the entrances, lasted longer than the match. It's just this epic time for big muscle guys and the heavy rock music. Both are very similar in the sense too that they both really rise to the top fast, and then they really kind of just skyrocket down. Sid definitely had more trips up top. Warrior had the bigger fame in the sense that he was able to beat Hulk Hogan clean in the middle of the ring as a babyface. Like, he beat babyface Hogan, and that's huge. Nobody was doing that, and he was the first guy to do that. However, Sid probably had the longevity. He ended up having success in WCW and WWE, being the top champion in both promotions. So I would give it, like you, by a hair, to Psycho Sid.
Yeah, everybody watching, let us know your pick in the comments. You put it a good way that they would rocket to the top whenever they were around, but then it seemed like over time they never stayed on top for too long. They always kind of had that move back down the card, but they were always big names. They would be put in steady spots. They were both in both WWE, WCW. Warrior had a run in Memphis, I believe, right? Was it him and Steve Borden as the Blade Runner? So
that's
a lot of the same territories. They were kind of like more sizzle, less steak, if you were to use the JR term.
For sure. Yeah, they weren't going to have crazy in-ring matches. They were going to it was all about the presentation. They just looked big, badass guys that were going to beat you up and get out of the ring. And their promos probably didn't make a lot of sense, but they were intense. And so we just cheered. We were like, yay, But overall, those were, great memories. Again, to any newer fans watching today, don't Google Sid leg break if you haven't seen it. Bad.
I was actually talking about this with friend of the show, Scott. Was that off the top rope or was that off the middle rope?
I believe it was off the middle rope, actually.
I want to end today by bringing up our TikTok. It has been very successful for us. Jess has migrated over from the TikTok to the YouTube. If you want to support an up-and-coming podcast, we don't have a Patreon yet. We have set up a TikTok subscription. So if you click on our TikTok profile, right below our Discord link, which is broke. So if you want to get in the Discord, message us, and we'll message you a link. It's a whole fucking process. Ask Jess about it. If you want to click on our subscription, we set it for the lowest possible, $2.99 a month. It's less than a day's cup of coffee, but it helps support a podcast for a month. And speaking of supporting a podcast, you heard us go on and on about Game Up Hard Hydration.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby. but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit